welcome to a very special edition of previously unseen clips from this series of Would I Lie to You? Joining David Mitchell tonight are Claudia Winkleman, Dan Walker, AJ Odudu, Samantha Morton, Miles Jupp, Roisin Connerty, Sarah Barron, Trish McCausland and Gemma Kearney. And joining Lee Mack tonight, Bob Mortimer, Sarah Pascoe, Mr Motivator, Ed Gamble, the Reverend Kate Botley, Sophie Herman, Dr Zaan van Trulliken and Cindy V. And so we begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. And AJ is first up tonight.
For dinner, I often eat an entire packet of cream crackers.
Please, team.
Just cream crackers?
Yeah, for dinner. Like, the whole dinner is a packet of cream crackers.
Do you have this when you have dinner alone or with other people?
Combination of the two.
Hang on, with other people, do you say, don't worry, I'll cook, and then come round? There you go. Don't worry, I've got us a packet each. That's me shaking the cream crackers in case you want. Just...
Now, AJ, it doesn't strike me as a healthy diet. Do you have a take on this? Because I know you have an above-average knowledge of food.
You are talking like a man who has never had a conversation in his life. I know for a fact that you have above-average knowledge of food. What are you talking about?
No, because I know about you. I
know about you. I know about you and your eating habits. I'm the one in the team.
You trained, didn't you train as a nutritionist?
Yeah, you know.
Well, if you trained as a nutritionist, why on earth are you eating crackers?
Look, that's like saying, does a kidney doctor, like, not have alcohol? Kidney doctors drink booze, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the liver more than the kidney, traditionally, but I take your point.
Look, listen.
Think. Which one? What's it going to be, look or listen, please?
What is that look, listen, think? It's a thing, isn't it?
Cross the road.
Cross the road.
Yeah. It's stop, look, listen, close your eyes, run!
So what are you going to say, Lee?
It's clearly not true because she's very slim and you can't eat that amount of crackers and be healthy, and you look healthy. Sorry, I've never met a woman before, I'm nervous.
So, AJ, is it the truth or is it a lie?
It's true!
Sophie, you're next.
OK. I once ruined Oktoberfest for 2,000 people with my Miley Cyrus impression.
When did this happen, Sophie?
It happened around 3 years ago in Munich, where they host the only Oktoberfest that matters, because that's the original.
How did you ruin it for everyone? What happened?
Well, I was at my favourite tent.
It's a series, the Oktoberfest
It's a series of tents.
And the idea is you just get together...
Get together, you sit in these kind of booths and have 1 litre of beer, which is a Maß, not a Stein, which every English person seems to believe. It's not called a Stein. It drives me crazy. In German, it's wrong. It's a Maß. Anyway, I can drink 6 without vomiting.
Woo! 6 litres, that's 12 pints.
And without vomiting, well done.
Yeah. So you're in your favourite tent.
I'm in my favourite tent.
And there's about 2,000 people in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The tents host different capacities. This tent is quite small, so it's only 2,000.
Sounds quite large to me. I mean, I would say as tents
You clearly
go.
haven't been.
Yeah, but I'm saying I have seen tents, and I'm saying what I would call quite a large tent would still not hold 2,000 people.
Well, we're not talking about the Millets family tent. It's more of a marquee-type tent.
Yes,
Yeah,
what I'm trying to do is impose some sort of broader context to this conversation about tents, because we're going to go mad if we start calling tents that contain 2,000 people small tents. Otherwise, we've lost all respect for adjectives.
So we were all in our Oktoberfest outfits, in the dinner dress, And
Dinner dress.
Dirndl, darling, Dirndl. You would
sorry.
be wearing a lederhosen, but then I haven't seen your calves, so...
You certainly don't want to.
Sure about that. Anyway, so...
She's flirting with you, David.
He's a married man. I would never do that.
But he's gorgeous.
He's
Look at
gorgeous.
him.
Yeah.
Look at
Irresistible.
him.
This is weird.
He's like a young, athletic Bill Bryson.
Oh, thank you.
With a little bit of Paddington Bear.
If I remember correctly, there was this very poorly attached kind of lamp shade hanging there. And at some point, I was drunk enough to channel Miley Cyrus's performance in the video, Wrecking Ball. Seemed like a great idea after, I don't know, 4 masks by then.
4 steins, I think it is.
Stop it. Don't even get me started on that. And,
Are you two flirting again?
I really wouldn't know.
Sophie, flirt with him a bit more. I'm loving this.
Keep doing it until he faints.
Right, okay, so I then just launched myself onto this lamp. I have a good 2 swings on it, and then the whole thing crashes down, collapses with me, and there's an electrical cut in the tent. So I kind of had to lie to the waiters. It wasn't me, kind of pointed at some guy in lederhosen.
Me. But hadn't they seen you on the...
Well, I mean, it's a big tent and a lot of people.
You just said it was a small tent.
Well, it's still 2,000 people.
Well, this was my point from the start.
Compared to the average tent.
So what do we think? Could it be true?
I really want it to be true, because it's funny.
Raj, what do you think?
I have been to the Oktoberfest, and everything she said sounds true to me.
We'll say true.
You're going to say true. Sophie, truth or lie?
Well, it wasn't the proudest moment of my life, but it's the truth.
Yes, it's true. Dan, you're up next.
Right. Sir Alex Ferguson once gave me the hairdryer treatment for leaving greasy chicken fingerprints on the FA Cup.
Oh. Lee.
Maybe you could just explain to the non-football fans the hairdryer treatment.
So if you get in a situation where you ask Sir Alex Ferguson a question that he doesn't like, then they refer to the hairdryer treatment where he gets very close to your face and his breath is so hot that it feels a little bit like a hairdryer.
Do people ever use that to dry their hair? You could go up to him with wet hair and sort of ask him a stupid, you know, why don't you know anything about football? And then just...
Do me a favour, Dave, if you ever meet him, please try it. Why were you holding the FA Cup?
Because I was hosting Football Focus from Wembley the week before the final.
How long ago was this?
This would have been 1999 when they won the treble.
Right.
So they'd beaten Tottenham to win the league. They had the FA Cup final, and then they're playing the Champions League final the week after that.
I mean, it's endless, isn't it? They just play football and play football and play football. When is it going to come to some sort of conclusion?
So the FA Cup is there?
The FA Cup's there.
Right.
Normally what happens is I do a piece to camera when we start the coverage of the FA Cup, and I'm allowed to hold it, but I just had chicken dinner and greasy fingers on the cup.
Right.
And what did he say in his fury?
He said, "This is a disgrace." I've been manager of this club for 13 years. I joined in November 1986.
All right.
He says, I've never had anybody...
He started reading out his CV. Before that, I managed another club.
I've never had anybody in all my time in this competition put their greasy fingers on the cup, and all this was like Scottish rage right in my chops.
All right, what do you think? Does it sound true?
I don't think he was working for the BBC on Football Focus in 1999. I don't think he was born.
Well, it's a lie. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
OK, Dan, was it the truth or was it a lie?
Well, you know when you give a date early in a story, and then you realise as soon as you give the date that you've absolutely scuppered yourself? Well, it's a lie.
Sarah, you're next.
I once did something completely inappropriate while under the influence of anaesthetic.
Oh, right, Lee.
First of all, what were you under anaesthetic for?
I suffered a very severe break of my ankle.
Where was this, Sarah?
New York City.
Of course it was.
You're in hospital, you've had the anaesthetic. Is it local anaesthetic?
No, it's in New York.
no.
It's miles away. That's one of my best.
Very strong. Okay, so I got the anesthetic, and I started to go under. So they, like, laid me back.
You weren't already laid back when they gave you the anaesthetic?
No, because...
In my experience, I'm laid out when
You
they give...
just said no to Rob like you were trying to get a dog off a sofa. I loved it.
Well, all I can tell you is it was a general, and it went in my back.
Yes.
And then they started to lay me back, and I started to go. And this doctor enters, and he's very handsome. Of course. Of course. I bolt up. I go, Dr. Taylor. I said, Dr. Taylor, I love ya. And then I'm out.
So this anaesthetic turned you into a woman from 1940s Chicago?
Yes. People respond differently to medication.
When you woke up, what happened?
I saw Dr. Taylor in the distance.
I'm not surprised. Was he running?
Yes.
All right, so what do we think? Kate, what do you think? Is that the truth?
True.
True.
And I'll tell you why. Because I've had anaesthetic a few times, and you do have a tendency to tell the truth.
What did you do? There's no God!
So what are you going to say?
I buy it.
You say
True.
true?
Two
True.
truths.
We'll say it's
Okay,
true.
they're saying it's true. Sarah, truth or lie?
It is true.
Bob, you're next.
I once plucked a seagull out of the sky with my bare hands just because my mate Dennis bet me I couldn't.
David's true.
Yeah, true. Go on. Where were you?
On Redcar Beach, northeast of England.
What were you doing?
I was eating chips. The bird comes for the chips.
That's a classic northeast chat-up line, isn't it? Like, birds come for the chips.
So which hand are you holding the chips in?
I think it was the right, because as I remember it was...
That's your left.
Yeah.
That's your left.
Your left. And are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
OK, you've kept your dominant hand for bird catching.
It's ready. Not just bird catching, there's all sorts goes off on Redcar Beach.
And so do you catch it with one hand or two hands?
I caught it with one hand.
Just like that?
Yeah.
When was this?
This was be about 77, 78.
Years ago. You're looking good.
Thank you. It was the early days, actually. It's very prevalent now, isn't it, them swooping down for ice creams?
Yes.
But in those days, it seemed quite a rare event. You could hold your chips, that was part of the game, and keep hold of them, let a pigeon get them, and, you know, let it take its...
Pigeon, you say?
Seagull.
Seagull.
Sam, what are you thinking about this?
I think it's not true, because they're massive.
Oh, it's a big bird, yeah.
Yeah, they are massive. And in 77, how big would you have been in 77?
6 foot, 6'2". Something like that.
So, Miles, what are you thinking?
I think it's true. And if not true, it's a sort of charming kind of Ken Loach film.
Well, this puts David in an unenviable position.
David? I still got it.
I'm not saying you haven't got the speed, but you've got to connect with the leg of a large seabird.
It's not a leg, is it?
Well,
The seabirds have legs.
What do you call it?
You know that thing that their foot is attached to? What would you call that spindly bit that goes up to their body?
Well, now you say it, it's a leg, but doesn't that seem a bit odd that birds have legs?
You know when you get served a chicken or a turkey?
It's a chicken leg.
Exactly. So, come on, what's it going to be?
OK, I'm going to go lie.
You're saying... Are you sure about that?
No, I'm not sure about it.
But lie is the answer you want to put forward, is it?
Lie is what I'm going with.
He says it's a lie. Bob, truth or lie?
I was telling a lie.
Oh,
Chris, you're next.
OK, well, I'm still blind. So, David, would you save us all a lot of time and read my card out for me, please?
OK. I eat an apple a day in a very particular way.
Right, Lee's team.
How long have you eaten an apple a day?
Oh, maybe, probably coming up to a year, 9, 10 months, maybe.
10 months. So what is this particular way?
Well, the usual way to eat an apple...
They don't need to cover that, we know.
Well, I mean, Stephen's from Scotland, he mightn't be aware of eating fruit. So... But if you go in through the side and you eat around the core, and then you put the core in the bin.
Yeah. You're not going to tell me you eat the core first, because we're not going to believe you.
No, but I do eat the whole thing, because I read from a very reputable news source that 90% of the goodness is in the core.
90% of the goodness of an apple
all the benefits.
Is that little bit in the middle?
In the middle, that's where all the goodness is, all the benefits. It does so much for your health.
I've been chucking the core to the dog. The dog now is an Olympic athlete. Now it explains it.
So, Chris, you eat the apple, and where most of us then would be left with the core and would discard it, you just carry on.
No, no, no. The way that everyone eats an apple is fundamentally wrong. So you don't go in through the side. You need to go in through the bum.
From the opposite end to the stalk.
So if you go in through the bum, you don't notice the core, because it's distributed equally amongst sweet, juicy apple. So you don't notice all of the goodness.
What the hell are you talking about?
This is great.
I mean, if you eat an apple from the side and you're left with the core, all you've got is core. But if you eat it through the bum, up that way, you're getting a little bit of core.
Why don't you eat it through the side, but just keep chewing through the core?
Because
then it's just core at the
yeah,
end.
because
now
then
I'm
you've got to go
involved.
right through the middle.
Oh, you've got to go through the ride through the core before you get back to apple again. Whereas if you eat the bum end, you're taking more apple each bite.
Yeah.
Who told you that the core is the best part of the apple?
I don't want this to detract from the authenticity of the story in any way, but it was on Apple News.
Apple News?
Apple News, as in the tech company.
Oh, I see. I genuinely thought you subscribed to an Apple newspaper.
Do you know what, Lee, as well, you would be amazed. 2 years ago, I found out that I'd been eating a banana upside down my whole life.
What do you mean upside down?
Your instinct is you get the stalk and you snap the stalk.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Now, and if you open it the other way, it
but
looks
if you hold on to the stalk and then
more
just...
pleasing, isn't it?
Yeah, you hold on to the stalk and twist the nipple. And...
Well, hang on. How can that be the wrong way? You're still eating the whole banana.
Because if you bend the stem, you run the risk of mushing the end of the banana. So, what I'm saying is, Lee, if you eat an apple from the bum, there's so many benefits, apparently.
What's the benefit?
Everything except for curing blindness.
So, what are you going to say? Truth or lie?
I'm not buying that.
You're not buying it?
No.
You're buying it?
No.
I'm not having that. With
Say
your
it's a
apple
lie.
nonsense.
OK, Chris, truth or lie?
I'm here to change the world, Rob. It's true.
Ed, you're next.
I used to pretend to be German in order to chat up girls.
All right, David's team.
When did you do this and under what circumstances?
1943.
This is probably between the ages of about 17 and 19.
Why German?
So, I grew up in Wimbledon.
Yes.
Oh, that explains it.
And me and my friend Josh, during Wimbledon, we used to go out in Wimbledon Village and pretend to be Boris Becker's personal assistants.
Imagine Lee is...
A woman.
A woman in a sandwich shop. Now, please do it.
Hi, I'm Helmut. This is my friend Herman. We're here for the Wimbledon tournament. We're Boris Becker's assistants, yeah?
That is very, very sexy, isn't
This
it?
is a lie.
And did it work?
Yes, we slept together.
So what is your job as a personal assistant? I worked for Boris for many years and he got rid of me. What is it you do so well?
His laundry, prepare his snacks.
Prepare his snacks?
Prepare his snacks, etc.
I hide his earnings from the German taxman.
Ed, can you describe a scenario in which it was successful?
We're talking about my love life as a teenager. So success for me was those girls probably spoke to us for 5 minutes longer than they would have done if we'd used our normal voices.
So, ironically, love as in tennis. He got nothing. Not a funny joke, but a lovely link.
But this lasted for 2 years.
3 years.
Dry years, which is appropriate as well.
Are you still friendly with Josh?
Yeah.
And what do you guys do now? Like your normal grown-ups now?
He's got, like, kids and stuff, so...
Cool.
I mean, she still thinks he's German.
So what are you going to say? Truth or lie?
We'll say true.
All right, they're saying true. So, Ed, were you telling us the truth, or is it a lie?
It was...
Sarah, you're next.
Possession.
Ah, OK. There's a box at the side there. Take the item out and then read the card out.
OK, this is the item.
Oh, right, OK.
These are my Scrabble glasses. They don't have lenses in, but I wear them every time I play because they make me feel cleverer.
OK, let's see. Right, David's team.
So, when did you develop this Scrabble playing technique?
At university, I lived with some people who I didn't know very well, who were very competitive Scrabble players.
Did they wear glasses when Scrabbling?
They had actual glasses that they needed because their eyes weren't good.
You were in a hall of residence, or?
Yes.
And on your little hall of residence, there were how many Scrabble players?
4.
I can't believe that in a block of a hall of residence there were 4 intense university Scrabble players.
David's face. What else is there to do at university?
I wear glasses because, number one, it makes me look so good. Number 2, I actually don't need to wear them, really. But because it makes me look so good and clever.
Number 2 is very much like number 1, isn't it? Hang on.
So, to be clear here, the glasses are to make you feel more intelligent.
I am more intelligent with them on. I play a better game, I get better scores. That's science.
I've got a Scrabble question. What's a K worth in Scrabble?
It is worth 5.
Yes. What's
But ask me now.
what's the point bonus you get if you use all 7 letters?
I don't know. It's 50.
Yes. She's got Scrabble knowledge, David.
So, what are you going to say, David?
What do you think?
I'm going to say it's a lie.
Lie.
Sorry, David. I think it's the truth.
I'm going to go true.
You're saying true?
Yeah.
OK, so, Sarah, truth or lie?
I'm going to keep these on while I tell you that it is lie.
Zan, you're next.
After a mix-up with a builder, my house now has a daft name.
David's team.
What is your house's daft name, please?
The name is 74 Baskerville.
And what's the actual address?
All right, David, calm down.
That's a fair point you make. You don't have to tell me your address on television. How did you end up with 74 Baskerville on your house?
On the glass above the door in a Victorian house, there's an opportunity to put your number if you want it.
Yeah.
And I said, I want the number 74 frosted into the glass, and I want it in a serifed font, like Baskerville or Century Schoolbook or Garamond or Times New Roman or something like that.
This is the most middle-class conversation I have ever heard in my life.
Does it say 74 Baskerville in Baskerville?
What annoys me about it is that it is in Baskerville font, so someone knew.
Well, it's interesting, because I've always had a theory that sign writers can all spell accommodation. But they ask, do you want the special service where we spell check? It's twice as much. And then people say, no, we can spell check. And then they come up with their idea of how to spell accommodation. The sign writer goes, OK, that's what we're putting, knowing that it will foreshorten the time by which the sign will have to be redone, because people will be embarrassed to have accommodation spelt wrong. Anyway, that's just my theory.
So what are you thinking? Now, let's see. Roman.
I think it's the truth. This is a real tricky one, and he knows he's had a good performance. Look at his face.
Now there's a look there. He looks pleased that we're about to believe him.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe he's luring us in with his pleasedness, and I just feel humiliated and toyed with.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. It's a lie. We're going lie.
You're saying that it's a lie?
Yeah.
All right, I like that. That's dynamic.
That means he's invented Baskerville like that. We're saying he's a genius.
Zand, was it the truth or was it a lie?
Desperate to press the button. It's so true. Oh, God.
It's true.
We told ourselves off it.
Yes, it's true. And look at this. Here's a picture of it. Look at that. And finally, Lee.
I once got locked in the crypt after midnight mass. Luckily, I managed to escape using nothing but the contents of a box of Christmas crackers.
David's team.
Tell me how you ended up in the crypt and tell me how you ended up on your own locked in the crypt.
OK, so they do the midnight mass at St Paul's.
Yeah.
And the service ends, and I said to my wife and children, hey, should we have a look at the crypt? But they want to go. It's midnight. We've got to get all the way back to my house. It's a long way. But you know me, I won't go anywhere without a piece of blank paper and a crayon.
Yeah.
So I've got a few rubbings.
Yeah. Who was your favourite of the people who were buried in the crypt?
It was definitely Dead Dave.
Dead Dave?
That was my nickname for him.
Yeah.
King David IV. I had him.
King David IV.
Yeah.
Great king. Where was he king of again?
He was king of Denmark. Then I heard, like a horror film, the sounds of large gates. Crun, dum, echo, echo, echo. I come back round, and that's when I see that it's actually locked.
Oh, my word.
Phone rings. It's my wife upstairs. Where the hell are you? I was saying, yes, help me, I'm trapped in the crypt. But there isn't very good reception in the crypt.
Yeah.
So all she could hear was, the crypt. Did it on the train and the microphone. Right. Norman Collier. I said, a little bit, yeah.
Why did you have crackers with you?
So, outside the crypt, there was a table, had a bit of holly, a few crackers, just a few bits and bobs, and I was able to reach through, and I managed to grab that cracker and think there must be something in here that could help me. And luckily, it was one of your quality crackers. You know, sometimes you get a cracker where you think, I'll actually keep that.
Yeah.
I'll keep that gift.
Yeah.
And it was a blowtorch.
Right, so what are you thinking? Ruth, what do you think?
No, it's a lie.
But it's obviously a lie.
What?
You say it's a lie. We're going to say lie because
Where's your Christmas charity?
I tell you why. It's because you said. You know what he said?
Yeah.
That's why it's a lie.
OK. So, Lee, we're all on tenterhooks. Was it a lie?
It's a lie.
Well, that's all we've time for on this special edition of Would I Lie to You. Thanks very much for watching. Good night.